This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA, to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
All right, and welcome to the GSMC Sports Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the GSMC Sports Podcast, and as always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. All right, here's what we got going on today. We're going to be starting off with the NBA for the first segment. Second segment, we got the World Cup semifinals coming up. We got the first semifinal matchup between France and Belgium, I believe, tomorrow, which is going to be Tuesday. All right, we got some NFL talk. Going to be talking about some teams who are on the cusp of competing with the top teams, like on the cusp of becoming a top team, sort of like that. Like, you know, like the Saints are. All right, the Eagles, they're like top teams in the NFL. There's teams that are starting to make their way up there. We're going to talk about some who are close but just aren't there yet. All right, and then for the fourth segment, we will be talking about anything else going on in the world of sports. We had the All-Star teams announced for the MLB, so we'll be talking about that briefly. And like I said, we'll be talking about anything else going on. All right, so it's Monday, and I don't know. Usually I just point out the day, so yeah, it's Monday. But nonetheless, I mean, I've been following Summer League a bit. Okay, we talked about how I think last Thursday I went to the Kings Summer League, saw Mo Wagner and all those guys play. But nonetheless, now we're seeing pretty much everyone else. Guys like Jaren Jackson, all right, Trae Young, Wendell Carter Jr. I watched him a bit yesterday when they were playing the Lakers on Sunday night. Wendell Carter Jr. looks like him and Larry Markkinen are going to play really well together. All right, let's see. You got Robert Williams over with Boston. Jabari Bird's doing fine over there too. What other guys are there to watch out? Marvin Bagley, obviously, the number one pick. DeAndre Ayton. Okay, so obviously there's a whole bunch of guys to watch out for. But nonetheless, one story of the Summer League so far has been Trae Young. Okay, Trae Young has not looked good at all. All right, honestly. And this was obviously, like, I'm not going to go out and say, given his Summer League performances, that he's going to be terrible or anything like that. But nonetheless, I mean, you're looking at the shots this guy's taking, and they're not good shots at all. It's not like he's getting open looks or anything like that, and they're not knocking down. The guy's pulling up from about 10 feet behind the three-point line, just chucking them up. All right. And I'm not going to go out and say, oh yeah, looking at him, he's not going to be playing well. But nonetheless, I mean, he's got to realize that that's not going to be working out, right? The whole pulling up deep from three and chucking a shot. There's only a few guys who could do that. Okay? And it's Steph Curry. Okay? And if I'm the Hawks, I know that. Actually, let me give you Trae Young's stats through 3 games. Okay? He's 12 of 52. That's 23%. He's got 13 assists, 11 turnovers. All right. I mean, if you're the Hawks, you got to rethink trading Dennis Schroeder. All right? Because it just seems that Trae Young, like, he could develop into a good player, but it just seems right now, given these performances, he needs time. Okay? And Dennis Schroeder, I don't understand why. Actually, I do, because I remember Dennis Schroeder saying that he doesn't want to be playing on a bad team and stuff like that, a rebuilding team. He deserves to be playing on a team that's good now. And I'm inclined to agree with Dennis Schroeder. I mean, it's not like Dennis Schroeder's a bad point guard. Okay, we've all seen him perform. He plays on the Hawks. They've been terrible the last couple of years, so that's why we don't talk about him enough. Okay? But like I said, I don't think you trade Schroeder here. Okay, at least you wait. I mean, if you're the Hawks and you just want to throw Trae Young out there into the fire, go ahead. But nonetheless, the guy just doesn't seem ready. Okay, I'm not sure who taught him that taking shots from that deep was something that was good. Okay, but nonetheless, I mean, he's got to rework his game, I think. Okay, what he did in Oklahoma was fine. That's college. Who cares? But that whole I'm gonna be ball dominant, take shots like this and all that, turn the ball over, it's not going to work out in the NBA. So, yeah, I don't think the Hawks right now need to be trading Dennis Schroeder. Maybe you wait till the trade deadline to see what Trae Young is looking like. Then you do it. But nonetheless, like I said, Trae Young struggled big time so far in the Summer League. Okay. And then, obviously, the whole LeBron sweepstakes, that's all over. Now he's with the Lakers. You got Ty Lue now, all right, saying that he's gonna talk to Luke Walton, obviously, about coaching LeBron. Ty Lue says it's all misconstrued about the fact that LeBron sometimes goes against his coaches and all. But nonetheless, I mean, I guess it's cool that Ty Lue's going to be giving advice, but if I'm Luke Walton, how much advice do I want to take? Okay? And isn't it crazy that Luke Walton was in the same draft class as LeBron? I think that's a nice little fun fact right there. All right? But, I mean, looking at the Lakers right now, I don't even think right now they're a top 3. I don't know. All right? Because, I mean, as far as the West, they're a 4 or 5 seed right now. Okay? As of right now. Obviously, you have LeBron. Okay? You're adding him to a 35-win team from last season. And the mixture, like the players that they've brought in after LeBron has seemingly been one of the most random things I've ever seen. Okay, it seems like you're bringing in Rondo. All right, you're bringing in Lance. You bring in JaVale. JaVale I get because you did have a need at center. Okay, I think they had a longer term plan bringing in JaVale. Maybe they were expecting to sign him and then get Boogie after. All right, and you bring back Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. It's just, I don't know. It just seems like a lot of it's not going to work out. Okay. At least with these guys. Unless somehow maybe LeBron works his magic and makes them all better around him. Okay, because I mean, looking at their possible starting 5, I'm assuming it'd be either Lonzo or Rondo. Okay. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, LeBron, Ingram, and then JaVale. Alright. That doesn't necessarily scream top team in the West to me. Well, obviously they're not going to be the top, but like I said, second seed or anything like that. Alright. And I mean, your second unit, like for the guys they brought in, the second unit looks good. Okay? They brought in a bunch of second unit guys. And let me look at their current roster right now. Alright. Let's see exactly what they're working with. So obviously you got Lonzo. Alright, KCP. Still got Luol Deng. I'm sure they're still trying to get rid of that contract. Hart, Ingram, Braun, Kuzma, McGee, Rondo, Lance, Mo Wagner. Alright, and you got Zubac. I mean, as far as centers go, Lakers probably the worst team as far as the center position goes. Okay, because I'm going to tell you this, as good as JaVale McGee looked in the playoffs, he was only playing about 14 minutes a game. Okay, looking at their roster now, you're probably not going to be able to play you're going to have to play JaVale more than 14 minutes a game. Okay, and he's never really been one who did well playing like a lot of minutes. Okay, so I'd say right now with the Lakers, they're probably, for me, 4 seed in the West right now. All right, of course, you got the Warriors 1. I'd say the Rockets at 2. And then, believe it or not, I think the Jazz are going to have a real good season this year. I think I could see them finishing number 3. Okay. I mean, look at it. Okay. You had Donovan Mitchell, who was a rookie last season. Pretty much led that team to, what was it, the 5th seed? I think it was, yeah, the 5th seed, 48-34. Okay. Got out of the first round. Second round got bounced, but nonetheless, like I said, you You lose Gordon Hayward, you lose George Hill, two big players on your offense the year before. No one's expecting you to be this good. Okay. Now you got Donovan Mitchell coming into his second year. You added Grayson Allen, who honestly I think is going to be a real good fit for that team. I mean, why not the Jazz? Okay. I do think that right now Utah is currently better than the Lakers. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, I think the Lakers probably still have a few more tricks up their sleeve. I don't know. I think it's more of a longer term type of build for this team. Okay, because, I mean, you got LeBron for 4 years, I believe. I think it might be even 3 years with the last year as an option. But nonetheless, I mean, looking at the moves they made, it's a lot of one-year deals, and it's just like they have to be planning something else. Otherwise, Magic Johnson has no clue what he's doing. Great, you got LeBron, but the guys you got after don't really seem to fit well. All right, and that's a lot of players in one locker room, meaning you got guys like Rondo, Lance, all right, guys who aren't afraid to say whatever they want. All right. It's going to be a weird dynamic this season. I'm curious to see how exactly it works with the Lakers, but nonetheless, it's going to be real, like I said, real interesting to see. All right. And like I said, as of right now, I'd say that the Jazz, Rockets, and Warriors are currently better. Okay. But of course, like I said, the Lakers got to have some other type of move up their sleeve because this can't just be it right here. All right. So we'll see how it all goes down. Right now, we're going to be focused on Summer League a lot. Going forward, but like I said, I mean, as far as the Lakers and all go, they're going to be a good team, but like I said, I still think they got some more to do, so we'll see if they end up doing more this summer, but nonetheless, we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to be talking about the World Cup semifinals, so stay tuned, and I will be right back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines. They got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. Spent that first segment talking about Trae Young, also talked about LeBron and the Lakers a bit. All right, now we're going to be talking World Cup semifinals. Okay. Let me tell you, I think we got the right semifinal matches, okay? I would have much rather seen Croatia-England rather than Russia-England or Sweden-Croatia, or even, if worse came to worse, Sweden-Russia. Like, we could have got that as a semifinal, okay? And let me tell you this, if we would have got Russia and Sweden for one of the semifinal matchups, World Cup would have been done, okay? I mean, who wants to watch Belgium versus one of those teams in the final, or France versus one of those teams in the final? There's not one person out there. Okay, so thankfully, England took care of business against Sweden, 1-2-0. All right, goals from Harry Maguire and Dele Alli. Both headers. I mean, England, it seems every corner kick they get, they score. It's a bit ridiculous, okay? And they do hit a lot of penalties. And, I mean, England, I'm still kind of in shock about that whole penalty shootout with Colombia. England doesn't win penalty shootouts, man. But, I mean, I guess if you don't got John Terry, Frank Lampard to mess it up for you, then you're good, right? But nonetheless, I mean, looking at it, we got Croatia, England in one semifinal, Belgium, France in another. Okay, Belgium, France could be a World Cup final if things would have worked out. But nonetheless, we got them playing each other in the semifinals. All right, right now, Belgium are playing really well, really in form. Kevin De Bruyne is playing well. Eden Hazard's playing really well. Lukaku is, I think, 2 goals behind Harry Kane for the Golden Boot right now. Okay, the defense is playing fine. Courtois played well, hasn't really had any mistakes, I'd say, so far in this World Cup. Then you got that France team where it's just talent literally at every position. Okay. France is doing what they should have been doing at the last 2 World Cups. 2010, 2014. I mean, France, I don't think we talk about enough as far as their depth and quality at each position. Okay, it's a bit ridiculous, honestly. Let me look at their squad right now. All right. I mean, looking at the strikers. Okay, you got Mbappe, Griezmann, Dembele, Giroud. Guys in the midfield, Pogba, obviously wingers too, Lemar, Fekir. All right, Conte, Tolisso, Matuidi, Nzonzi. Defenders, you got Varane, Umtiti, Mendy, Hernandez, Pavard, Kimpembe, Kimpembe. Is that how you pronounce his last name? Who's a tall defender, is probably going to be the starting center back. I don't know. All right, France is real young right now too. I'm starting to realize that. France is in a good spot. I'll just say that. I mean, looking at the age of these players, you got Mbappe, who's 19, Griezmann's 27. He could still play in another World Cup. Dembele's 21. Giroud, this is probably his last World Cup. Pogba's 25. He'll still be in his prime by the next one. Lemar's 22. He'll probably be starting at the next one. All right, Fekir is 24. Conte's 27. Tolisso's 23. And Nzonzi's 29, so this might be his last. This is probably Matuidi's last 2 since he's 31. You got Varane's 25. Umtiti's 24. Mendy's 23. Hernandez is 22. Pavard is 22. All right. They say Kimpembe is 22. Sidibe is 25. All right. And I'm sure you can still play Hugo Lloris next World Cup because he's only 31 right now. All right. So France, I mean, like I said, last 2 World Cups, they should have did a whole lot better. I mean, with the depth that they got, the quality that they got at each position, I mean, why not? Of course, it's good that they're finally taking care of business here. All right. Coming into the World Cup, they were definitely one of the most, I'd say, stacked teams of the World Cup. Okay. And honestly, like I said, they're just taking care of business here. Okay. Then over on the other side, you got Croatia, who for me, for the most part, was the best team of the tournament so far. Belgium, I think, for me, has taken over that. So I'd say right now, Croatia are probably playing the second best football out of everyone. I don't know. I mean, and I'm talking about the entire World Cup, not from the round of 16 on. If it was from the round of 16 on, I'd say that France so far have been the best team. But from like an entire World Cup standpoint, Belgium and Croatia, for me, out of the last 4 teams that are left, have been the 2 best. Okay. If it was round of 16 on, I'd say it's probably France, Belgium, England, then Croatia, which is weird in itself. But nonetheless, you get what I'm saying here. All right, and looking at Croatia, obviously you got the great midfield. Okay, you've been done well to score and all that. And now it's just a point where you got to defend well on set pieces against England because that seems to be their bread and butter. All right, you got to watch out for Raheem Sterling. I know he's not scoring at all really or anything like that, but nonetheless, he's getting into open positions where it's going to draw the defense over and it's going to leave guys like Harry Kane open. Okay. And then over in England, I mean, honestly, just keep doing what they're doing. Okay. England have played good football so far. And it seems like this, I'm not going to say it is, but this could be the year for them. Okay. Last time they won the World Cup was in 1966 in England when that tournament was there. And now it's just a point where England's almost like that team of destiny type of thing. Okay. I mean, everything's worked out well so far for them. They've taken care of business at each stage of the World Cup. And now it's just a point where, as good as Croatia have looked, I'd say that right now, England are the favorites. Okay? And I'm hoping this doesn't end in heartbreak for England. I'm really pulling for them right now. Okay, like I could care less who wins it. But as far as a rooting interest, since Mexico is now out, I'd say England's the one I'm excited to watch. Okay, I do like Croatia. I did have Croatia and Uruguay in the final. All right. And, I mean, Uruguay let me down. Croatia obviously still has a chance to prove me right there. Okay. But nonetheless, I'd say that right now, England are the favorite in that match. And as far as France and Belgium, that's a bit of a toss-up there. Both teams have been absolutely on fire since round of 16 started. I mean, you got France who, yeah, it was a 4-3 game, but nonetheless, I'd say that they dominated Argentina. Okay, you can't tell me that Argentina in that match looked 3 goals good. Okay. And then you had France against Uruguay, one of the better teams in the World Cup. Beat them 2-0. Belgium, you got to play Japan first. All right, had a bit of a scare. Ended up pulling away with the win, 3-2. And then you play Brazil next. Brazil, one of the big favorites, all right? Their whole thing with Brazil was you got to avenge the 7-1 loss to Germany last World Cup. Belgium handled business there. Belgium took the 2-0 lead, and Brazil, till the end, didn't really have much going for them, all right? And, I mean, as far as this Belgium and France matchup, I'm not really sure what my pick is right there, okay? I mean, these are 2 of the deepest teams in the World Cup. And a bad part for Belgium is they're not going to have Thomas Meunier because he's suspended due to yellow card accumulation. Okay? You'll probably have Carrasco coming in first place. Chadley's been starting too. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be a lineup of Vertonghen and company, either well in the back 3. Carrasco and Chadley on the outside wings. Witzel, Fellaini in the middle. And you got Hazard, De Bruyne playing up top behind Lukaku. All right? I'm sure that's going to be their lineup. And I don't really see France changing too much with their lineup. I'm sure they're going to keep the same back 4. Pogba and Kanté in the middle. And then as for the 3 playing behind Giroud, like I said, Mbappe, Griezmann, maybe Tolisso, possibly Matuidi. Okay? But nonetheless, I mean, like I said, I really can't give you a true pick right there. I'd say I'd have to go with France. I just really like the way they've been playing. And I just think that all around, as far as player for player, France right now do have the better quality team. All right, I don't know. Player for player France is better as far as player for player. Okay, so it's going to be real interesting to see how it all plays out. I'm hoping for actually my pick, it'd be a France-England final. I mean, I'd be fine with either of these teams advancing into the final. I mean, I could do Belgium-Croatia, I could do France-Croatia. Okay, I could do France-England, I could do Belgium-England. I don't know, do we want to see Belgium and England? I mean, yeah, they did play their last group stage match against each other. But nonetheless, it's not like it was each squad's first team play. Okay. So, nonetheless, though, I mean, I'd say that this World Cup so far has been probably one of the best ever. I mean, there hasn't really been a bad game except for France-Denmark, that 0-0 loss. Okay, as for the other ones, I mean, you got games going into penalties, so that makes it more exciting. All right, plus the own goals. I mean, which has been ridiculous. I think we've had 10, 11 own goals so far in this tournament. All right, but nonetheless, like I said, I mean, we got Belgium-France tomorrow. That one's going to be at 11 o'clock Pacific time. Okay, and then we got England-Croatia on Wednesday, which is the same time, 11 o'clock Pacific time there. All right, and let me make sure I got that right. So, yeah, France is tomorrow, Croatia on Wednesday. All right. And I don't know, man. I just got that feeling about England. It just might be their year. Okay? It might just be. All right. This is probably one of the better teams they've put out. All right. And, I mean, look at Tottenham. Got 9 players in the semifinals. All right. Only downside to that is that you're probably going to be without those 9 players for the first month of the Premier League season. All right. I mean, it's going to be tough for them that month of August because obviously you're going to have these guys going on holiday and all that. So, we'll see how it all ends up. Like I said, though, my picks for these games are France and England. All right. So, we'll see how it all goes down. But nonetheless, we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to be heading over to the NFL, talking about some things there. So, stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. So far today, we've talked about Trae Young. We talked more about the Lakers. All right, we talked about the World Cup semifinals. All right, now we head over to the not-for-long league, the NFL. Okay. Like I said, I've been saying it. We've been looking at it. I mean, all the news coming out at this time is not good news. All right, Brandon Browner got into some real bad stuff this weekend. He honestly probably going to get locked up for a while. Allegedly, he got into some bad stuff, I guess. When you can't really say it till he's say he did till he's convicted. Weird how the law works that way, but allegedly he did a bunch of stuff. All right, his NFL career was probably done last year. Now he's got to hope he doesn't do a hard time. Okay, you got the Cardinals GM cited for a DUI on the 4th of July. Not necessarily what you want. Okay, obviously we get stuff like that from players and all, but if you're a franchise of the Cardinals, you don't really want your front office also getting mixed up in the headlines. So like I said, this is a real tough time for, well, not even a tough time. This is a time right here if you're an NFL player or front office guy where you got to realize the only stories coming out right now is who's getting suspended or who's getting arrested. Okay, you don't want to be one of those guys. But nonetheless, I mean, like I said, that's all that's going on right now. Okay. And, I mean, as far as everything else in the NFL, we're just waiting, okay? We're just waiting for the NFL season to get here. I mean, the NFC is going to be absolutely ridiculous with the amount of quality in that division. Or not in the division, in that conference, I should say. The AFC, I think we kind of know what's going on there, okay? I think we all know our division winners. Do we? The Patriots, the Steelers. I'd say the Jags in the AFC South. I don't know. AFC South, that's a bit of a pick-em there. AFC West, I'd say it's the Chargers, the favorite to win it there. All right. But, of course, we got teams who are on the cusp of getting on that level of a Patriots, of a Steelers, okay, of a Saints, of a Eagles, of a Rams. All right. Teams who are looking to take that next step to becoming one of the best in the NFL. San Francisco's one of them. Let's see. I'd say, I don't know, will we consider Minnesota one of the best? Actually, yeah, we're talking about teams who seemingly need to make a couple more moves before they're there. Dallas is one. All right. Let's see, who else? Dallas, maybe Jacksonville. All right. Jacksonville did make it to the AFC Championship game last season, but I don't really think that anyone looks at them as if they are a top team in the NFL, right? I haven't gotten that feeling. Okay? And then you got the Chiefs, obviously, and then I think you can say the Titans, too. All right? But nonetheless, with San Francisco, I mean, all the hype with them is Jimmy Garoppolo. All right? Dude tore it up towards the last part of the season last year. Now everyone's pretty much ready to jump on that hype train and ready to see the 49ers dominate. Okay? I do agree that the 49ers are well on their way of becoming a real good team. And as far as them competing with the top teams, yeah, they are a couple years behind that. Okay? As far as it goes, the 49ers right now still need a good running back. Okay, I've been hearing about Jerick McKinnon a lot. Let me tell you this, Jerick McKinnon has been a backup in Minnesota his entire career, and even when Adrian Peterson left, McKinnon still didn't get the job. So take that information with what you will. All right, and as far as the receivers, you got a Ricky and Dante Pettis, who we haven't seen take a snap in the NFL yet, so you can't even definitively say, oh yeah, this guy's definitely going to be a good number one. And then you got Pierre Garçon and Marquise Goodwin, who have been number 2, number 3 guys their entire career. All right. The 49ers, I don't think are going to be making the playoffs this season. All right. But nonetheless, I think it just takes a couple more years of development with their defense, not to make the playoffs, but to be up there with everyone else. Okay, it takes maybe a year or two more of development from the defense, if not just this year. And I really do think they should consider bringing on Dez Bryant. And I think they got to look for a running back. All right, but of course, maybe Kyle Shanahan, the offense he runs, could possibly, all right, make those running backs look a whole lot better than what they've shown over their career. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, looking at them, they're a team that's a couple years away from being the top team in the NFL. Then you got Dallas. Okay, Dallas is a bit of a weird one here, considering the fact that Dallas made the playoffs 2 years ago, went 13-3. This past year, they go 9-7. All right, and I mean that Dallas team that went 13-3, probably, if not for Mason Crosby, go to the NFC Championship game and would have played Atlanta. And I'm not going to go out and say that they would have beat Atlanta, but they would have given them definitely a game. Atlanta that year was... Actually, no, they're not beating Atlanta that year. Atlanta that year was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, there's no reason why they should have lost that Super Bowl. I'm not even going to bring up the fact that they were up, 28-3? Okay? Because I think we should all get away from that whole 28-3 loss. I think it's all time to get past it, just like the Warriors that one time where they lost to the Cavs in the finals after being up 3-1. I mean, you never really want to see those type of collapses if you're one of those teams, obviously. All right. I mean, imagine being a Falcons fan during that game. Okay. You're up 28-3. You're having a good time at your Super Bowl party, or you're watching it in the comfort of your own home by yourself. All right. Having a great time because your Falcons are beating up on Tom Brady and the evil Patriots. All right. Atlanta's finally going to get a Super Bowl. And then the Falcons realize, oh yeah, we're an Atlanta sports team. We're not supposed to do stuff like this. We're supposed to seemingly give it all up, which they did in incredible fashion. I mean, the fact that you gave up that many points and they didn't even add to their score. All right, it was just a pure collapse there. Okay, but getting back to Dallas, I mean, you got your quarterback, you got your running back. Your wide receivers scare me, okay, and your defense scares me. Offensive line, running back, quarterback is fine, and I think that's why the Dallas is going to be a decent team this season. They'll go 9-7 again at least. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, Dallas, it's that secondary. Okay, you got to fix up the secondary. And I know they've drafted some guys over the last couple of years, so you're still waiting for them to develop and see what they could become. But secondary is not great. You got DeMarcus Lawrence on the D-line. All right. Then you got Sean Lee and Van Der Esch that you drafted. But nonetheless, like Dallas, yeah, Dallas is a team where they're weird, okay? I'm not sure really what to think of them going into this season. I mean, I do think they're going to be a decent team. They're going to be a good team. And like I said, in a couple of years, they probably could be up there as far as one of the best teams in the NFL. But it's just a point where, I mean, this season, you got to play Carolina week 1 in Carolina. Then you get the Giants at home week 2 on Sunday night, where you've stunk it up almost every year, it seems. Then you got to play in Seattle. You got to play Detroit. You got to play the AFC South, which is going to be tough. Okay, and the NFC South. I mean, looking at it, Dallas is going to be good. They're going to have a good team, but there just might be a point where they struggle because of that schedule. Okay? Because, I mean, there's no real cakewalk games on their schedule. I mean, I could see them beating the Seahawks. Like I said, that's going to be tough because it's going to be in Seattle. The Lions are going to be a tough team. Entire AFC South is good. The Redskins are going to be much better than last year, I'd say. You do play the Buccaneers, so that's an easy win right there. All right. But nonetheless, like I said, Dallas were 13-3 2 years ago, 9-7 last year. You'd think that maybe this year they step up a bit, but I think it's maybe a year or two till they're at the top where they need to be. Okay. And then looking at all the other ones, I mean, Jacksonville, I don't know, there's just this feeling about Jacksonville where, like, I was on their hype train last season. Okay. I loved watching them. But it's just this year, it's like, I don't know, it's like you just can't trust Jacksonville right now. Okay? You're still trying to wait and see exactly how they're going to show up this year. Last year was great. They played extremely well, okay, and deserved to make it to that AFC Championship game. But it's just now, it's like the AFC South's going to be a lot better. Okay? AFC West has gotten better. AFC North, you got the Steelers there. You're probably going to see in the playoffs probably once again. In the AFC East, I mean, you got the Patriots who still own the AFC. Okay? So like I said, with Jacksonville, it's just, I'm not really sure what to expect from them this season. Because, I mean, they did go 10-6 last year. That's not like a 12-4 type record, 11-5 even for that matter, all right? So they still have a lot to work on. So I think Dallas, like I said, Jacksonville, San Francisco, all teams who are right on the cusp of turning into one of the best, like some of the best teams in the league, but got to make a few more moves. So we'll see how it all ends up. But nonetheless, we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to be talking about a bunch of other things going on in the world of sports. So stay tuned, and I will be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. So far today, we've talked Lakers, we've talked Trae Young, we've talked World Cup, and we've talked NFL. Now, as you know, for this segment, we talk about anything else going on in the world of sports, so let's do that. Let's talk about some MLB scores from Sunday, all right? We had the Yankees beating the Blue Jays in extra innings, 10th inning, 1-2-1, all right? The A's been on an absolute tear, okay? It's a shame that they were playing in the AL West, where over in the AL Central, you probably got the most, like the worst division in baseball. All right? The A's, who are the third best team record-wise in their division, would be the leaders in the AL Central. All right? Get rid of the AL Central altogether for this season. We don't need them. It's pointless, okay? The Indians are probably going to be playing a team like the Astros in the first round of the playoffs. Why do we need to see that? It's going to be a clean sweep, okay? Nonetheless, the A's won that one 6-0. And you had the Rangers beating the Tigers 3-0, I should say. Rays beating the Mets 9-0. I mean, Mets were... Nate Eovaldi was throwing a perfect game up until the 7th inning. Okay, the Mets are a complete dumpster fire. I don't get what happened. Maybe it was just injuries or whatnot, but Mets got off to a hot start this season. We're looking good. Things were looking good over there, and I don't know. They just turned into the Mets, okay? This team was in the World Series 3 years ago. How do you mess that up? Okay, honestly, how? I mean, the Royals, too. The Royals stink right now. All right, you know, the Marlins beating the Nationals 10-2. Pirates beating the Phillies 4-1. Brewers beating the Braves 10-3. Brewers looking real good this season, too. All right, Twins beating the Orioles 10-1. Astros beating the White Sox 2-1. Red Sox sweeping the Royals 7-4. The Cubs beat the Reds in extra innings 6-5. We had the Giants beating the Cardinals 13-8. All right, and then the Mariners beating the Rockies 6-4. Padres beating the Diamondbacks 4-3 in 16 innings. I mean, that doesn't sound too fun to sit out of a game for 16 innings. All right, and then you had the Angels beating the Dodgers 4-3. Let's look at these standings. Okay. Over in the AL East, you got the Red Sox up 2 games now on the Yankees. I mean, that's a 2-team race right there for that division. You got Tampa Bay, who's 16 games back of the Red Sox. All right. Like I said, the Indians in that terrible AL Central division, you got them up 9.5 games on the Twins. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's a bit ridiculous how we got the A's being this good, and they're probably not going to make the postseason because we got to let a team like the Indians in because, I don't know, I might just be grasping for straws here, but the AL Central is absolute garbage. All right, so we got the Indians in first. AL West, you got the Astros 61-31. Let's see who's got the better record between. All right, so Boston right now has got the better record, but nonetheless, the Astros in first right there, 61-31. Mariners in second, all right, at 57-34, 3.5 games back, and then of course you got the Oakland A's 50-40. All right, they're gonna be playing for a wild card. I don't see them catching the Astros. All right, over in the NL East, we got the Phillies and Braves tied for first. Phillies I guess you could say, have that number one spot based off of winning percentage. Okay, the Nationals are 5 games back there. Looking at the NL Central, you got the Brewers in first, game and a half up on the Cubs. And then over in the NL West, you got the Diamondbacks up a game on the Dodgers. You got them up 3.5 on the Rockies and Giants also. All right, let's take a look at those wild card standings right now. All right. So obviously you got the Yankees. They're going to be making the playoffs, the Yankees. That's no doubt. Okay, I think right now it just comes down to the Mariners and A's for that second wild card spot. All right, and the A's pretty much came out of nowhere. I don't think anyone was expecting them to be this good, but the sad fact of the matter here with the A's is that as good as they are, these players who are playing well for them and getting them to this record are all going to get traded within the next couple of years. Okay? I mean, as an A's fan, how do you even get excited for this knowing that it's all going to be over and you're going to be terrible again within the next 2 years? All right, I mean, the A's got, the second lowest payroll in all of baseball? I don't understand why they don't spend money either. Okay? It's honestly a bit ridiculous to me. I'm not sure if it's an owner thing. I'm not sure if it's a Billy Bean thing. But nonetheless, I mean, the A's, like I said, they're going to be good this year. Maybe they make the playoffs, 6.5 games back of the Mariners for that second wild card spot. We've seen crazier things in baseball. All right. And, I mean, it's all going to be for nothing in the next 2 years. They're going to have to trade them all. Josh Donaldson, all that stuff all over again. Okay. So we got that over in the American League. I mean, I don't see Tampa Bay making any type of run to the wild card. All right, they're 11 games back of the... They're 4.5 games back of the A's, 11 back of the Mariners for that second spot. It's not happened. All right, and then over in the NL, we got the Cubs, 2 games up on the Phillies or Braves. I'm assuming... I don't know, I'd say that right now. Let's say that Philly's number 1 in their division because they got the higher wildcard spot. So the Cubs are 2 up on the Braves for that number 1 wildcard spot. I'd say the Braves occupy that second spot. Then you got the Dodgers 2 games back of the Braves, and the Cardinals 4 games back. The Rockies and Giants 4.5 games back. The Nationals 5 games back. So if the Nationals are going to make a run into the postseason, they're going to have to go through that wild card because I don't see them winning the division. All right. But nonetheless, that's what's going on in the MLB right now. We also had the All-Star teams being announced. Let me check those rosters real quick. All right. Did have a couple of snubs, but I mean, I could care less about snubs because the All-Star game is all. I hate All-Star games. All right, I'm just going to say that. But as far as like the biggest snub, it's probably Blake Snell. I don't understand how you lead the AL in ERA. You're 12-4. Okay, you got 132 strikeouts, and your opponents are hitting 183 against you. How does he not get voted on? Is it because he plays for a bad Tampa Bay team? I'm not sure, but nonetheless, Blake Snell easily the biggest snub. Okay, so let me see if I can find the actual rosters for the All-Star game. All right, we got over in the AL, you have Jose Abreu, okay, Jose Altuve, Jose Ramirez, Manny Machado, Mookie Betts, Mike Trout, Aaron Judge, and it is absolutely ridiculous how Mike Trout is just so severely undermarketed. All right, you got Wilson Ramos also, JD Martinez, AL pitchers. You got Trevor Bauer, Jose Barrios, Chapman, Garrett Cole, Edwin Diaz, J.A. Happ, all right, Jose Jimenez, Craig Kimbrell, Corey Kluber, Chris Sale, Luis Severino, Blake Treinen from the A's, Verlander, but he's not going to be playing since he pitches on Sunday. All right. As far as the reserves, you got Mitch Moreland, Gleyber Torres, all right, Alex Bregman, Francisco Lindor, Michael Brantley, Mitch Haniger, George Springer, Shin-Soo Choo, Shin-Soo Choo might be one of the most underrated players in all of the MLB, if not the most underrated. I believe he's got a 47-game on-base streak right now. All right, Salvador Perez, who's been terrible this season. I mean, he's in 213, which is ridiculous. Nelson Cruz also. Okay. As for the NL, all right, you got Freddie Freeman, Javi Baez, Nolan Arenado, Brandon Crawford, okay, Nick Markakis, Nick Markakis, I think he's in his, 13th, 14th season? Just made an all-star team. This is like Tim Wakefield making it that 1 year. Okay, Nick Markakis, yeah, the guy that used to play for the Orioles. Alright, I don't know what's going on with him this season, but the dude's been on fire, so he's in the all-star game. Matt Kemp, once he left the Dodgers, it seemed like he was washed out and he's done. Now, he's playing in the all-star game. It's a redemption story right here for both him and Markakis. Bryce Harper obviously made it. Okay, Wilson Contreras. And then looking at the pitchers for the NL. Let me scroll up there real quick. Okay. And I think right now the AL's got the better squad. All right, you got Patrick Corbin, Jacob deGrom, Sean Doolittle, Mike Fultonewicz, Josh Hader, Brad Hand, Kenley Jansen, John Lester, Mike McCullis, Aaron Nola, Max Scherzer, obviously, Felipe Vasquez, Paul Goldschmidt ended up making on the reserves, Joey Votto, Ozzy Albies, not sure, Scooter Gennett, Trevor Story, Eugenio Suarez, Charlie Blackmon, Lorenzo Cain, Christian Yelich, Buster Posey, JT Realmuto, and those are your all-star teams right there. All right. Will I be watching the all-star game? Most likely. Maybe I could talk about it on here. But like I said, I'm not the biggest all-star game fan. NBA's cool. NFL's terrible. NHL, poorly marketed. Okay. So as far as Wimbledon, moving on. Roger Federer advanced from the 4th round. Okay. John Isner still doing well. Let's see. Nadal played today. Also advanced in straight sets. All right. Looking at the women's singles today. Let's see. Was Serena today? I know she advanced. Yeah, she played today. 1 and 2 sets. 6-2, 6-2. And Serena's going to win Wimbledon. Okay? She's going to win the women's tournament. And we're going to talk about even more how she's the greatest tennis player of all time. But yeah, Serena's my pick there. And I'd say I'll go with Federer for this tournament here on the men's side. All right? So I'd say my picks are Federer and Serena. And we also had Novak Djokovic playing today. He won in 3 straight sets. So, you got Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer doing well. Serena taking care of business on that other side. So we'll see how it all ends up going forward. But nonetheless, we're going to wrap it up here. Today we talked Lakers. We talked Trae Young. Okay, we talked World Cup. We talked NFL. We talked MLB All-Star teams. And we talked Wimbledon. So thanks for listening to the GSMC Sports Podcast. As always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. I will be back tomorrow. So stay tuned, and I will talk to you guys later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.